So in this video we will see how we can restore the multi-zonal disk through GCBDR. So if we talk about GCBDR, so it stands for Google Cloud Backup and Disaster Recovery Solution. So it is still in early phase and it is not pretty mature, but yeah, there are certain limitations. So we'll be able to restore the VMs that are in single zone, but if it is multi-zone, so it is not, we are not able to restore. So we'll see how we can restore the VMs that are using disks that have multiple zones, multiple zonal disks. All right, so I'm assuming so the GCBDI has been set up correctly, so we'll not go into that. If you want to look into that as well, you can let me know in comment and we can make a video on that. Coming back to the point, so we have for the example two VMs over here, so VM multi-zone and VM zone A. So don't get confused, it's just the name. So here it is mentioned B, but here it is mentioned as A, but that's fine. All right, so let me open it up quickly and open this as well, and we'll try to restore how we can do it. All right, so I have enabled the backup policy already. So if you go to the backup policy, then you can see the backup plan is here, and same for another VM as well, the zone A. So if you go down, and I think I have to go up. All right, so here we have the backup plan, and if you go to the backup vault, so we can see the backup vault like this and backup plans like this, and we have vaulted backup like this. We are not going too deep into this because that is going to stress the video longer, but this is just an exercise how we can resolve the issue of the multi-zonal. So coming back to this, so first we'll try to restore using the traditional GUI method. So I'm going to this VM and I'm simply going to restore it, and uh, let's put some backup. So I'm putting the latest one, so I think this is the latest one, and going to click continue, and it will take a minute. All right, so now it is asking for details. I'll take the default ones. All right, so now it is trying to restore, so let's see what it is doing. So now it is saying that it is going to create the VM, so that sounds good, but let's wait for a couple of minutes. I think a minute or two is fine to get this error occurred. So let me refresh it, but that doesn't make any sense because it will, okay, here it is. So it says Google API error 400, invalid value field, all regional disk must have replica zones override provided. All right, so if we go to the VM, so we have this VM, so we can take a look at this disk. So we have this persistent disk, and if I open the disk over here, and then we can see we have the disk in, okay, so this is boot disk, sorry, let me open the persistent disk, regional standard persistent disk I mean to say. So if I open this, then we can see this is spread across two regions, two zones I would say, US East 4B and US East 4C. Now let's see how we can restore it. So in order to go that, so I have opened it already, and we have a script that I wrote. And if I go to this, just give me a second please. Alright, so here is the script that will be leveraging. So I'll send the git repo link in the description so that you can use that out. So first I'm going to simply run it, and then we can see how we can restore it. So in order to run this, I'm simply going to run, as I already executed it, so I'm just going to provide the bash prompt, bash shell, and the script name gcbdr_restore.sh, and then we have to provide the VM name as a parameter. So if we can see that if we go to this VM name, so we have this VM multi-zone, right? So going back to the shell prompt again, so now I'm simply going to run this, so bash this. If I hit enter, then it is fetching the details like what is the data source of this specific vault. then it is asking for the available backup. So it is showing the available backup and it is looking for our input. So if we look at the default one is select the latest backup. So if I select this input, I'm just hitting enter. Now it is going to create. If you want to take a look at the log, it is going to, if you can simply click on this link and it will show and it will redirect us to this page, and we can see the status as running. For now I guess it will take a minute or two. All right, it is loading the content. All right, you can see that it is running. Now going back to this, so it says looks like the VM this is still being created. Now going back to this page, and if I refresh it, then we can see this is being created. So meanwhile it is creating, we can take a look of what exactly script is doing. So if I go to the script page, let's open this Cloud Shell and let's go to this script one by one. So I mean the variable parameters one by one. So we have the source VM $1, so that means the parameter, the VM name that we provided as parameter. So if I go to this script, then we can see we have to put the VM name over here. So after that, the source VM project. So for example, for this demo we are using Quick Labs, so that's fine. And the BRS project. So here we wanted to mention BRS means where we want to restore. For this use case it is both same, but for your use case in production it may be different. And next is target VM project. So again it is going to be same for all the for our use case, because we are using the same project, but for production it may be different. The source VM project could be different, the BRS project could be different, and the target VM project could be different. Now next thing is vault name. So if I go to the vault, okay, so we can see the vault. So we can put the vault as the this variable as vault name, and we can see the backup plans. So backup plan is needed. Okay, no, backup plan not really needed. Now the source VM project, so where this VM is residing actually. So sorry, source VM network project. So we can provide that parameter. So for this use case, if I go to the VM and select this VM multi-zone, we can check the network details. So we have this custom network. So we have this custom network. Sorry, source VM VPC and source VM network project is going to be same for this use case, but for your use case, for production use case it may be different, because if it is different project, then the subnet is going to, then the network project also going to be different in certain use case. If the environment is you following the shared VPC model, so in that case that is again different topic. What exactly is shared VPC model? So in that case we have a dedicated project where we configure the network details, network VPC and all that, subnetting and all that. So again in that case we can use that project, source VM network project, but for our use case it is same. Next is source VM VPC. So again for this use case we are using custom network. So if I go to the VM, so we can see this custom network and the subnet as well. So alright, now the epoch time, so I'm using this parameter. So if I go to the restore process and where it is, let me go back. So it is using epoch timings. If you see the content, okay, so it has been completed. So if I see it is appending this parameter hyphen restore and hyphen this string, so this is actually epoch time. So if I go to this, so epoch time is this, and restore suffix is appended. So if you see the restore VM name, so it is source VM appended by followed by hyphen restore followed by epoch time. So that's the restore VM name. And we have source VM subnet. So like I mentioned earlier, so what exactly the source VM subnet is, so it is where it is subnet hyphen B. Alright, so and target zone. So since the disk is multi-zonal, so we have to provide the multiple zones as well over here. So the first one, target zone, so I'm providing USEs 4B, but it may be different. It's not really necessary that we need to restore under same target zone. So but yeah, that's it. And next is target zone 2, since this the disk is across spread across distributed across multiple zones, so we can provide the another zone. So these two are timer and interval, so just to check that check the process how exactly it is doing. So if we go to this, and we can see that it is taking checking every 10 seconds for 300 seconds. Now it is created, so it says source VM this and restore VM this. So alright, so I'll share the script in the description, like I said earlier, and I think it makes some sense, and you can figure out how exactly we can restore the multi-zonal disk through GCPDR. So alright, I'm closing for now. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.